Welcome back, everyone, to the Overleveled podcast. Oh, yeah. We're doing it again, everyone.
One more time.
Yeah, one more. We're still going. I think we missed a week.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just, for me personally, things have just been going so crazy in and out of my normal work schedule.
Understandable,
So literally over the past few days, I was just thinking like, oh shit, did we forget to do a podcast?
It happens.
All good, yeah. Yeah, so I guess, it really has been kind of a like 2 weeks since we last had a proper convo.
That is true.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing A-okay. How you doing? Oh, shit. How you doing, Gavin?
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I see how it is, bro. I see.
I'm sorry, man. I saw him yesterday, so he's on my mind a little bit.
Dude, whenever me and DJ were like regularly doing Videoverse, like kind of towards the start of it, me, Brandon, and DJ would either do like recordings together, or we'd do separate stuff, like me and DJ or Brandon and DJ. And holy shit, for so long, DJ would call me Brandon. I know. Brandon, or fuck. DJ would call me Brandon, and DJ would call Brandon me, Gavin. I'm Gavin, by the way.
Yes, hello.
I forgot I didn't introduce myself.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, dude. So what are you doing these days? Before we hop into all the news and stuff, what do you anything you want to let people know what you're working on? Anything like that?
Well, I guess in terms of what I'm working on, in terms of my personal channel, I've been working on this new series called Petunia's Quest, based on one of my favorite video games, Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much just like me talking, I guess, me doing like funny bits about my favorite game of all time. And the second episode is coming out tomorrow as of this recording, so there's that.
Okay, sweet.
And in terms of Videoverse, just been playing games. Nier Automata's back after like 4 months. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so this podcast will probably be out after you upload part 2 of Petunia's Quest. So, if you're listening to this now and you haven't checked out DJ's channel, Mushroom Man, go check out Petunia's Quest and all of his other awesome videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, personally, I've just been working like crazy.
Understandable.
This is the job that I have now is my first job that I've had where I'm purely salary based. So no matter how much overtime I work, I'm still getting the same paychecks every week.
Right.
So, if I work 40 hours, and one of my requirements is I need to work like a minimum of 40 hours to get my like my normal bonus at the end of every week. But if I work like 50 hours per se, I'm still getting the same amount of money as I would work 40 hours. Okay. So, it's not terribly difficult what I'm doing. It's just sometimes I got longer weeks than others.
Yeah, definitely.
So this week I worked like 50 hours or something like that. Maybe a little over 50 hours. So, just a long week of normal work. But there's been some pretty cool news stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks. First and foremost, Yakuza. Have you ever played any of the Yakuza games?
No, I've not, but I've always wanted to, though. They seem a lot of fun.
Dude, they seem like they are right up your alley.
Yeah, they really do.
Like they're just as like they have their I guess their normal stories that they go through. Like there's a definitive arc to like each game and a story to follow for each one, but there's just so much side bullshit that happens that's all just comedy. It's all just comedy. It's just random. Like it's very bizarre. It's very JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Definitely. Yeah. No, it looks great.
Yeah, so I've been playing a little bit of Zero. I haven't played much of Zero, and I haven't played it in the past couple of weeks, but that's the one that I'm on right now. That's going to be my first Yakuza game, I think.
Okay, tight.
And they just announced a sequel to the game Judgment. Do you know about that game Judgment, right?
No, but it sounds familiar.
Judgment is a game that came out a couple of years ago. It takes place in the same world as Yakuza.
Okay.
Like, I haven't played. Like I said, I've only played a little bit of Zero, so I don't know anything about all the characters. But from what I understand, it does tie in some way to the Yakuza series, but it's a spin-off that follows a completely different cast. Anyways, they announced a sequel to that one. What's it called? It's called Lost. I think it's called Lost Judgment. It's coming out. Yeah, it's coming out in September. So, along with this, they also have straight up confirmed that Yakuza games going forward will be turn-based RPGs.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the newest game, Yakuza Like a Dragon, is a turn-based RPG.
Wow.
And that game, from what I've heard, it's getting 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 reviews. It's because Yakuza games are very funny and very tongue-in-cheek. The name Yakuza Like a Dragon is in reference to Dragon's Quest.
Okay.
So it's very much like a Dragon Quest game. Yakuza like a dragon,
Okay, that's cool. Also, that's kind of a funny contrast because Final Fantasy games, they started turn-based and then over time became more action-oriented, and now Yakuza is literally the opposite, action-oriented, turning into turn-based.
How do you feel about that? Maybe games kind of going back to that style of gameplay.
I don't mind it because I like both, but I mean, personally for me, I prefer action-oriented gameplay, but I like turn-based, so I don't mind this at all.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting change.
I think I agree with you. I think it's very interesting because games that have that turn-based style, they tend to focus a lot in on the stories, which is what I love about those games.
Yeah.
But not to say that action-oriented games don't have good stories, but I'm kind of with you in that I do like them both for different reasons.
Right.
But I'm totally cool with this, man.
Yeah.
I love me a turn-based RPG.
Definitely.
So that's gonna be pretty cool. I agree with you, man. Yeah, I hope more games kind of continue to. I wouldn't even say it's regressing in any way. If anything, it's just continuing to capitalize on a style of gameplay that a lot of companies have kind of put aside for more action-based stuff, which has its ups and its downs. But I'm excited for this.
Imagine the next Call of Duty game is fucking turn-based.
Yeah, it's because all the Yakuza games are kind of Grand Theft Auto-esque.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Right, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but for it to be, imagine GTA 6 is a turn-based game.
Oh man, that would not do. That would. Oof.
Dude, I don't know, man. If that's because I haven't bought a Grand Theft Auto game. The only 2 Grand Theft Auto games that I have are San Andreas for PlayStation 2. Well, I might have repurchased that on PS4, but then GTA 5 was a PlayStation Plus game. So the only GTA game that I have is the one that I bought is San Andreas on the PS2. But dude, if they announced that GTA 6 was a turn-based RPG, I would pre-order it.
Yeah, no, I'd buy that too, but think of majority of the people who play those games, they'd all be completely turned off by it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, probably, but I wouldn't. But yeah, okay. So, other than that, we got a release date for the NIS Classics Volume 1.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
If y'all remember a few podcasts ago, I think it was probably our first or second episode, we were talking about Prinny Presents NIS Classics Volume 1 with, what was it, Phantom Brave and Soul Nomad?
Edge, I think?
Yeah.
Oh, Soul Nomad, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, so
fuck
that's coming. I mean, those games came out, like, what was it?
A long time ago for the
like,
PS2.
Early 2000s. But yeah, they're coming out on August 31st.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm excited.
I
never beat Phantom Brave, but I fucking loved from what I played. That game was so nice and wholesome. I loved it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to giving them a try. Other than that, probably one of the other coolest things that me and you discussed a little bit throughout this week was that we got a brand new Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade trailer.
Yes, sir.
Shit. It's so interesting to see this trailer just because it seems like they're definitely adding in a lot into this DLC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
It's
literally like remake 1.5 at this point.
Well, yeah, because it's like, I mean, Intergrade itself is pretty much like how Kingdom Hearts Final Mix is,
Yeah.
It's just like a re-release of the game, but with extra content and extra, gameplay stuff. But the DLC portion itself with Yuffie, it seems like her entire story here is completely original to the remake story,
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure we talked about this before, but you play Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation 1, and Yuffie is totally optional, and you just run into her by chance outside. While you're just, running around. But here we see Yuffie in Midgar doing all this other stuff, and it's like, all this stuff that hasn't, it's been discussed a million times by a bunch of other people. But there's some other cool stuff, man. Like, we're seeing stuff with, what's that lady's name in Final Fantasy VII in the red dress?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I have no idea what her name is.
I'm blanking on her name, but, she's in the original game, and it looks like she's going to be a part of this DLC.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be kind of cool. And then there's also a point in this trailer where they introduce, what do they call it? It's like that mountain, like, tower defense.
Oh, yeah, that mini game.
Yeah. It's like they're implementing it in some way here. Like, I don't know. It looks kind of interesting.
Well, I think it's like that one. I think it's just another version of that one game. Like when you visit that tower with the phoenix on it. Yes, and then you do that mini game. I think it's just this. I think that's what that is.
But it's like,
I could be wrong.
It seems because that part in the original game. I'm pretty sure it's required for the story to get through, if I'm not correct. So, but the way it looks right here, it looks like this is completely optional. Like, this is just some sort of like, Tetra battle, card game type mini game.
I mean, it looks fun as hell.
I've never been one to go straight into playing the mini games of Final Fantasy games. Some of the card games are always fun, but even in Final Fantasy VII, like, personally, I never spent a whole lot of time over at the Golden Saucer.
Oh yeah, neither did I. No.
Unless it was just to get the exclusive, like, limit breaks or some shit like that. Mini games are cool. I guess I'd rather have them than not have them. But if this is optional, I probably won't be playing it a whole lot.
Right. No, I get that.
But then they also show this new character who straight up got this fucking like I don't know. He's got this mask on his face.
I think these are characters from Dirge of Cerberus. Like, I think I've heard that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe so. Like, they're trying to incorporate Dirge of Cerberus characters into this remake.
Dude,
I could be wrong about that though.
Do we have to play Dirge of Cerberus before we play the rest of Final Fantasy VII Remake?
I hope not.
Pretty much the only ones that I have not played are Before Crisis and Dirge of Cerberus. Because I played Crisis Core, I played 7, I've seen the movie. I guess that's pretty much it. Unless I'm forgetting another minigame or a spin-off game. But yeah, I mean, this looks interesting. Maybe it is from Dirge of Cerberus, but I have no fucking idea who this guy is. He's got this whole like Tokyo Ghoul mask thing going on. Mm-hmm. He's got this crazy mullet. I mean, he looks cool. He looks dark as hell.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So,
and also, it's fucking tight that they like are introducing some new summons. Well, I mean, new in terms of like for the remake. Like they got Ramu. Hell yeah. Yes. Yeah, they like teased him off like towards the end, but then they also showed it's very interesting because you know that guy in like he appeared like as like a teaser at the very end of the Yuffie DLC trailer, and he's got all the white hair. And it like shows him off for a second. They showed him in this trailer, but it looks like, because it says Tifa, Aerith, and Cloud are fighting this guy. And this guy pulls out a fucking Zantet. First of all, there's a few things, because I'm looking at this guy right now. He has a gunblade. Oh, yeah.
He's got a straight-up gunblade on his back that has the Shinra logo on it. So that's kind of cool, because there's no gunblades in Final Fantasy VII. That was a thing in 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got the gunblade, and he does like a Zantetsuken move on them. Mm-hmm. But like the arena that they're in is in a what's his name? Chadbert? What's his name? Chadley? Chadley?
I fucking know.
I think that was his name. Chadley. He was like the little guy with the
monocle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah. Where you fight the summons and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where they're fighting him in this trailer. So is this guy a new summon?
I mean, that'd be interesting. Okay.
that would be super crazy. Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot to pull from there, but it's cool. I'm glad that we're seeing more of it. I'm still looking for a PS5.
Yeah. I mean, I remember watching like a Young Yav video of him saying how even in like he made a video talking about how like with all the scalpers like buying off PS5s, and there was like reports saying how like with Sony we were talking about how like, man, there's too much people buying PS5s, we can't supply all that many, and they're talking about how like estimated even in 2022 it'll probably be difficult to get a PS5.
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
Damn.
So, I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm not like losing sleep because I don't have a PlayStation 5 right now.
Same, yeah. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Godfall, Demon Souls, and Spider-Man Miles Morales. But even Spider-Man Miles Morales is available for PS4, so it's not like there's a whole lot of exclusive right now.
Yeah.
Basically, if I were to buy a PS5 right now, it would just be to shorten the loading times for all of my PS4 games.
Yeah.
Basically, you know. Or,
yeah, pretty much just using this time to like play a bunch of different games until PS5s are finally available now.
Yeah. So, I'll just get it whenever I can. The day I get a PS5 will probably be, you know, in a time where people aren't like having to refresh on Amazon or Walmart or Best Buy or something.
Yeah, you can just go up to a store and just buy one.
Yeah, let's buy one PS5, please. Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be $800. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, there we go. We got that out of the way. The last maybe there's another thing too. Oh yeah. Have you ever played any of the Mass Effect games?
The what kind of games?
Mass Effect.
I have not, no.
So, yeah, I've actually never played a single Mass Effect game. But I believe as of today, or it was yesterday. Can't remember. Today's the 14th, so it might have been today the 14th. Today was the release date of the remaster of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 for PS4 and Xbox One.
Wow.
It might be on PC as well, I don't know. But yeah, this is cool because, for people like us who have never played these games before, they're really cool RPGs. With really cool stories and really fun gameplay. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I've heard great things about Mass Effect games, just never played one.
Yeah, so now it's available for everyone who's never played it before to finally play it. And then the last thing, today they showed off the opening movie, like the opening cinematic for the world, Neo: The World Ends With You.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah, they straight up just released, hey, this is what the opening is.
Okay, tight.
Kind of like with how they did with Kingdom Hearts 3. Like one of their trailers was straight up just the opening cinematic for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, they released a shit ton of new screenshots. They're showing off the whole like buying clothing mechanics and stuff like that. Going into shops and purchasing accessories and all that. And dude, the song that they played for the opening cinematic is really good. Yeah, whenever we're done today, if you just want to go ahead and play that video or something and give that song a listen, man, it goes in.
Oh, right now I'm just looking at the visuals, but I'll listen to it again, like just for the music.
Oh yeah, it goes in, especially towards the end. It starts getting heavy.
I believe it.
Yeah, so I'm fucking pumped for this. I think it's
comes out July, right? Sometime in July.
Yeah, July. What is it? July 27th. That's right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm still debating on whether or not I'm going to pre-order it. I feel like The World Ends With You is niche enough to the point where it's not like if I go in opening day and just pick up a new copy, I don't think that they'll be sold out at whatever game store I'm at. So, yeah, I'm always pumped for that.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, so that was pretty much some of the news. Some cool stuff. We got some Final Fantasy VII remake Intergrade stuff going on.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, real quick, I just want to point out the fact that literally every day I check for news on Final Fantasy XVI if they've said anything. Nope,
really?
Still waiting. Yes, I did that with 14 too, and 15. Yeah, I like checking every day for just like anything else.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like they came out with the trailer, and then what was it? They put out like a website.
Yeah. Yeah, the trailer's like 7 months old now.
Yeah.
But I'm not too worried about it because I've heard that Yoshi P is known for like when he says this game's coming out, that he's working on it, they're like actually making good progress on it. Yeah. And I think the last time he said anything, he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to do what we did before, just like announcing a game way before it releases. So the next time we talk about it, it'll be like good progress on it, you know."
Yeah.
Previously, with a bunch of Final Fantasy games, just like announce it, then way years later, it comes out, you know.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean that was one of my. That's one huge thing that I loved about the trailer that they showed off. Like none of it was like, because anytime that they announce a new Final Fantasy game, it's always some CGI trailer that's always just a little bit of a teaser. It might be like less than a minute long or something, or it'll be like really long, but you have no idea really what it is until the end because it's all just CGI.
Yeah.
And then the game comes out like 15 years later, you know?
Yeah.
So I know some people are looking at this game right now and thinking like, oh, like it doesn't, like it looks bad and stuff. And it's like, first of all, no, it doesn't. Also, it's like, dude, I am so happy that we actually got to look immediately at what the gameplay is supposed to look like. how the graphics are going to look, like a little bit of like story analysis that we can do. It looks so cool. And speaking of like upcoming games, this month, like I think in a few days, we should be getting an announcement for the next Dragon Quest game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they I think the director of it or some producer at Square Enix said you can expect an announcement this May of the next Dragon Quest game. So whether it's 12 or a spin-off game, I think it's 12. We're just gonna have to see.
Be the next Dragon Quest Builders game.
I mean, there's some people who fucking love. Like, did you know actually that the Builders games do have a canon story? And
really?
Yeah. So have you beat Dragon Quest 1 yet or no?
No, not at all. No.
So at the very end, it presents you with 2 dialogue options that you can choose, and depending on what you choose, I guess that results in the outcome of the end of the video game. And the original Dragon Quest game has like the correct ending that you're supposed to pick, but Dragon Quest Builders picks up after you choose the other choice of Dragon Quest 1.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, so it is, very interesting. So it's kind of this alternate timeline that is canon to the world of Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if you ever had any plan on picking it up, but if you end up playing Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3,
I eventually will.
Yeah, at least for me, knowing that much was enough for me to be like, oh, maybe I should give these Builders game a try. But I think that's officially it. Unless there's
speaking of real quick with Dragon Quest, did you know that there was a Dragon Quest anime that came out not too long ago?
Like an animated TV show?
Yeah, this is the Dragon Quest game, Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Dai.
Oh,
like it's an anime that came a while ago.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of it, but I know that's been coming out.
Because there's a I'm pretty sure they just made because it was it was
a very old anime.
Yeah, it was like a manga or something like back in the early 90s, like 91, 92 or something. And I'm pretty sure they're making like an app, like a phone game. Sorry about it, that everyone. Basically, my laptop got unplugged while I was recording, and so it cut off right as I was talking about the Dragon Quest app that I think is going to come out, like the phone game. But we're back. We didn't talk about anything afterwards. Like literally right after that happened, my computer screen just went black, and I was like, "Cool, I think my computer just shut down."
Sweet, love that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we've gone over some news. We've talked about Dragon Quest. Dude, so what are you playing right now?
Well, I was playing Pokemon Pearl, and funny story, the day that you were asking me what I was playing in general, and I told you I was like close to beating Pokemon Pearl, the next day that I went to it to go like keep going with it, I lost all my save data for it.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love that. So, I kind of stopped with Pokemon Pearl a little bit. I mean, I have been playing it, and I'm already like on this. I just finished the 6th gym yesterday, so I'm already pretty far with that. But the other game that I'm more focused on right now is Folklore for the PS3, is what I've been playing more of recently.
Did you and Brandon play that one on Videoverse?
We recorded it, but we never released it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, how you enjoying that?
Oh, I fucking love it. I love this game. It's great.
I feel like you were telling me about it a while ago, and that it's underappreciated.
Very, 100%.
That's another cool thing that I love about you, is that you tend to play a lot of games that have a very niche audience, but the audience like whenever we were talking about White Knight Chronicles, I shared the video into a gaming community on Facebook, and dude, so many people were like, I fucking love White Knight Chronicles, like this doesn't get enough love. They were like, what a great video, I'm so glad that, you know, some people are finally giving it love. Yeah, like nobody said shit about the games that I. Oh no, some people were talking about what's it called? The East games.
Oh yeah.
But and like the Trails of the Sky games. But most of the people were like, "Fuck yes!" Like it's a shame that there's not another one. And I'm like, yeah. Talk to DJ about that.
Yeah, no. Folklore is a very fun game because like. I've come to realize that I'm a sucker for games about battling, raising, and training monsters. And the whole point of Folklore in terms of the combat is like you capture these monsters and you use them to fight and stuff. And so I fucking love that. It's just a lot of fun to play. And the story is interesting. Yeah, the story is interesting because it's like a murder mystery. And you play as two different characters, like their perspective. Like they both go to the same island to understand what the hell happened to this island 17 years ago. And like you play through the perspective of two different characters. So like once you finish a chapter 1 for one character, you can immediately do chapter 1 of that character, like their perspective of what was going on, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Have you beaten it before or no?
No, I've never beaten it. Actually, this is the furthest I've ever been. Like, all the times that I played it, I've only ever beaten Chapter 1 for both characters, and now I'm on Chapter 5 for both characters, and there's only 8 chapters in total. It's a relatively short game.
Yeah, so you're trucking through it. Very cool.
Yeah.
Right
what about
now,
you? What have you been playing?
Yeah, right now I am I'm playing through Earthbound.
Oh.
Yeah. Which has been really cool because I like this style of game. This is you know, if you've played Earthbound before, and I feel like most people who are into, you know, JRPGs or retro game, like Super Nintendo era games, most people have played this game or played games that have taken a lot of similarities from this game, like games like Undertale and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much when I was done with Everhood, I was like, man, I feel like I need to go and play Earthbound, especially since the what is it, like the 35th anniversary or something, or the 30th? I don't know. It's like a big anniversary is coming up, and a lot of people are hoping that they're going to finally release Mother 3 in America.
That'd be tight.
Yeah, because it came out in Japan like back in fucking 2003 or something, or 2004 on the Game Boy Advance. So I don't even care if it's just a port of the Game Boy Advance version for download only on the eShop. Like, you don't have to remake it, just give me the game in English, you know?
You're right, yeah, definitely. I remember they did that with, like, the very first Fire Emblem game. Like, they were just like, here it is, you can download it on the Switch.
Yep. Yeah, so I hope that happens because I'm really enjoying Earthbound. And I've actually played, because Earthbound is technically Mother 2. I'm sure you knew about that.
Yeah, I've heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, so I downloaded, whenever I got my Super Nintendo Classic, I hacked it, like I modded it and put a bunch of Game Boy games and NES and Super Nintendo games on there. And so really, if I wanted to, if they don't release an English, like, localized version of Mother 3, I'm just gonna, like, patch it in English and then put it on my Super Nintendo Classic and then play it on my TV.
Oh shit, you hearing that, Nintendo?
Yeah.
Better get your shit together.
Sue me.
Come on, Nintendo.
Yeah, so, please don't sue me. Yeah, so I played Mother 1, which also... the first time Mother 1 was officially localized in America was on the Wii U as like a Wii U eShop exclusive, and the game was re-released in America as Earthbound Beginnings or Earthbound Zero or something. So I just played like a fan translated version that is pretty much the exact same as the official English localized one. but it has better visuals and they tweaked the gameplay and stuff. So I'm glad I played the version that I did. So I played through the first Mother game, and now I'm playing through Mother 2 Earthbound, and it's really good. It's very humorous. Like the gameplay is really fun. I started talking about this earlier, but my brain gets so sidetracked. But yeah, so it is an RPG, but it takes place like in the 70s or something.
Okay.
I believe the 70s. If not the 70s, then like the 60s or something. Like it's like a modern RPG that takes place just like on Earth. And so all of the enemies that you fight are like stray dogs and like trash cans.
Yeah.
And hobos and like hippies and like crazy cat ladies. Like you just like those are the kind of enemies that you face up against. And all of the dialogue is really witty and very funny. So I'm playing through that right now, and I'm really enjoying it. This is a game that I personally would like to do like a full review on way later out in the future. Or whether it's like right after I beat the game or something. Like this has been really cool, and I'm just sad that I hadn't played this sooner.
Oh, definitely. It definitely looks like a very fun game. It's just for me, like honestly, like the type of combat, like the way everything's laid out when you go into battle, like I've never been a fan of that for a while. That's like I think one of the reasons why for a long time I've never really got into playing a Dragon Quest game, because of the way that the combat looked with the older ones. I don't know what it was, just something about like having the enemies facing you in a POV kind of style. I don't know why that sort of turned me off. Yeah. But no, these games look fun.
So, I am completely on board with you. I agree. And literally the only reason that I kind of like it now is because I played Undertale, and that's how the gameplay is in Undertale.
Yeah.
So, and I got used to it after only putting in like maybe 2 hours of the game. It didn't even it seemed like its own type of game. Like I immediately stopped comparing it to games like Final Fantasy, because it's not like that. It's like, sure, you take turns in combat, but it's very different.
Oh no, but also like I'm also kind of a hypocrite too, because I did play one game in that sort of style, Digimon World Dawn for the DS, and the gameplay is exactly like that, where like the enemies are POV and stuff like that. Like I fucking love that game, so I'm kind of a hypocrite in that sense.
So I talked about it a little bit, I think, on the last podcast. An upcoming game on Kickstarter called Odd Venture. And it's kind of like a spiritual sequel to the Mother series. It takes place in modern times. Like, you play as this angsty, like, high school girl and stuff. And it's supposed to be this really emotional, story-driven game that's supposed to be really funny all at the same time. Like, it looks like a game that's right up my alley. And it's the same sort of style, like a Dragon Quest game, and like a, and like the Mother games and stuff like that. But one big difference, and I think this would make a huge difference for you, is that you know how in the Mother games and like the Dragon Quest games, you'll see the enemy up front, and then on the bottom screen it'll show each name of the player. Like, it won't show the actual players, it just says, like it'll have like 4 boxes, and then the person who's attacking, their box is raised up a little bit. And then it drops down, and then the next person is raised up a little bit, telling you that it's their turn. So in this upcoming game, it's that same sort of concept, but you see the back of your players' heads.
Oh, tight. That's exactly what Phantasy Star did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like in the later Phantasy Star games, like they did that, where like you actually see the back of the character's head. But yeah, that's cool. That makes it more interesting in that sense.
Yeah, because it's like you're seeing your character, and whenever they fight, they'll make some sort of like motion.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I feel like that would be like a good way. Like, if you just hate that style of game, or you haven't given it much of a fair chance yet, that's probably that's probably a good way to try to get introduced to that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. And speaking of which, real quick, I just want to, now that I mentioned Phantasy Star, I just want to mention that I really fucking love Phantasy Star. The one for the PS2, I still own it. Phantasy Star Universe, haven't beaten it, need to beat it. I fucking love how as soon as you play the game, like it acts like an anime where each episode it like has an opening theme that plays, and then there's like sort of like a on the next episode, and they show like a trailer of like what's gonna happen next in the story. I don't know. I fucking love that.
Nice.
All right, that's my rant for Phantasy Star.
Yeah, welcome to the Phantasy Star podcast. Yeah. So, anyways, that's what I'm playing right now. Other than that, dude, I am. This is a little bit aside away from the video game aspect of things, but I have started watching the Studio Ghibli movies in release order.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I just got finished watching Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Mm-hmm. I've heard good things about that one.
It's very good. I hear
I have not seen a single Ghibli movie though.
So the only other Ghibli movie that I've seen in the past, and this was when it came out, it was Ponyo.
Okay.
Ponyo was the first Studio Ghibli movie I ever saw, and then after that, I haven't seen any of them. Until like a few days ago when I watched Nausicaa. And right now I'm watching Castle in the Sky, which is the other one. And these movies came out like in the early 80s, like 82, 84. So it's very cool. I have HBO Max, and there's a whole section of HBO Max just dedicated to Studio Ghibli movies, and they have every Ghibli movie on there.
Tight.
So it's been convenient.
Fuck yeah. Well, speaking of watching stuff, recently I've been watching the show Invincible, and
yes,
that is really fucking good.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Dude, that's a show that I have been constantly hearing like such good things about. And me and Nicole watched The Boys. Have you seen The Boys yet?
I have not, but I've heard good things about that one too.
Okay, so it's Invincible, but it's live action.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that comparison.
Really, it's, really brutal, really gory. Like it's, and really funny.
Right.
So me and Nicole watched all of The Boys. That was one of our favorite shows when we were watching that. And this is one of the hard things about trying to watch anime and play video games and stuff like that with my wife. She finds it very hard to connect to cartoon characters. And
I get that. I get
that. I definitely understand. It's not for everyone. There are a lot of people out there, and this is another thing too that I see. This is a thing that I see very regularly if I'm on YouTube or on Reddit or Facebook or Twitter or whatever. People being very adamant about like, oh, you have to watch this. Like, you only don't like it because you haven't seen it. I mean, really, like, there's some stories that I know for sure my wife would love. Like some video game stories, like, oh, just sit with me and like, watch me play this game or something, because she doesn't like to play the games.
Right.
Or, watch this anime with me. And realistically, man, like, there are just people out there who they just don't mesh with the whole fact that they're cartoon characters.
No, I totally understand that. Because, like, sometimes me and my dad, or even my mom, like, we'll watch animated stuff, and, like, they enjoy it, but they just sort of, like, they just don't really connect with the characters because, like, they're animated. But whenever they watch a live action stuff, they're, like, more invested in it.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I'm not. That's not something
totally
that confuses me at all.
Yeah, no, I get it.
If anything, it's more confusing that we can be attached to cartoon characters.
Yeah.
And none of this is a diss on anime. Like there's a lot of anime that I really love. There's a lot of like, dude, we're doing a fucking Japanese role playing video game podcast. Like we're into all the weeb shit and all that. So yeah, I forgot where we were whenever we started going on this tangent, but
I just mentioned I was watching Invincible.
Yeah, Invincible. But I feel like that's a show that maybe Nicole would be into.
Maybe. I mean, it's definitely not like, it's not really anime. It's like more of a cartoon show.
Right.
I mean, it's sort
like
of animated and anime style. Yeah. It's like the DC animated shows. Like, it's not very anime. It's very good. I would highly recommend it. I think Nicole would be interested in it. Probably not maybe with all the gore, but it's good.
Well, I just say that she'd probably into it because we loved The Boys.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't seen The Boys yet, but if Nicole, because Nicole hates gore. Mm-hmm. If we're watching like a movie and it's just explicit for the sake of being explicit and stuff like that, like she's not into it. But The Boys is fucking brutal. And she loved that show. She loved it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we might give that one a try pretty soon, but I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. I've heard a lot of great things about it. I'm glad that one of my friends is also watching it. Okay, so we talked about some news, we talked a little bit about what we're playing, we talked about what we're watching. We've also in the past we've talked a little bit about maybe starting something new. I mentioned the Trails series in our last podcast episode, and we mentioned some Persona. Oh, and that's another thing too. I told you about this, but since the last episode, I caved and bought Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because my whole dilemma was I have the original game, but I have not played it. But now there's this definitive version that's out, and I want my first experience to be the best experience, but I don't want to have 2 copies of the game. It was a big dilemma for me.
Right, yeah.
But then it was on sale on the PlayStation Store for like $20. And I was like, you know what? I'm pretty comfortable financially at the moment. I finally have a good job to where I can kind of start rewarding myself a little bit more frequently.
Hell yeah, drop a 20.
Nothing crazy. I'm
right.
not... we have to pay bills, But,
right.
I saw this, $20. It still might be a little while before I get around to playing it, but now I have the best version of the game.
Hell yeah.
So I'll play that. But anyways, yeah, we talked about the Trail series. We talked about Persona. We talked about Dragon Quest. And when I was messaging you earlier in the week, you mentioned a couple of games that you have not started playing yet that you want to finish this year. Have you given?
Well, those weren't necessarily like games that I finished. They were just in general games we could potentially do. One of them I haven't finished. I haven't really thought about it at all. I mean, if we were to go off on my list, the one that I would want to do is Chrono Trigger, because that already was a game that I wanted to play and beat this year. So I'd be down for that. But
okay,
I'm down for anything, honestly, out of that list or just in general.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I mean, Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite games of all time. So if we started playing Chrono Trigger, that would be cool. The other one that I was thinking was the very first Fire Emblem on the GBA.
Okay, yeah, I'm down for that too, because I've been playing that. I haven't beaten it yet, but I've been playing that too.
Yeah, so I have not played a fucking minute of that game. So that would be a completely new experience for me. I've never played a single Fire Emblem game ever in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And I hear good things about Three Houses, and I know it's very different from the other ones.
Much so.
It's like
the one thing that
Persona.
I'll say about the Fire Emblem games is that they're very unforgiving. Like they have the whole if your character dies, they're dead for good. And then in Three Houses, they make it to where like that you can choose difficulties where like okay, if your characters die, they can still come back later, or keep it classic, or if they die, they're dead for good. And so, like, literally every time in the first Fire Emblem game, like the GBA one, anytime a character dies, I immediately restart because I'm just like, nope, nobody's died.
Wow. Dang. Yeah, permadeath is cool. Like,
it's cool, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like I respect it, but like because they recently updated The Last of Us Part 2 to where you can now play that game with permadeath. So at any point, if you die in that game, you just start from the very beginning.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof, no.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, let's just go ahead and say we're going to play Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
What are you planning on playing it on?
I have it for the PS1.
Okay, cool.
Because I have played a little bit of it. I just never finished it. I can't remember where I left off, though. I'll probably just restart. It's been a long time.
I would say, if you have a Nintendo DS, I would say that's probably the best version of the game.
Okay, I have a 3DS, and I can just play DS games on it.
Yeah. I guess at that point, then, it would just be kind of... I mean, if you already have the game on PS1 and, like, you're not trying to, like, buy it again, yeah, I mean, it's not a terrible version. I guess...
Why would you
say,
though,
that
it's the best? Times. Oh, it's the load times? That's what it is?
Well, yeah, so load times, but also on the Nintendo DS... all of your menus systems are separated from the top and bottom screen. So whenever you're like in the middle of battle, you don't have a bunch of menus on the screen where all of the action is happening. You can just kind of like look on the bottom screen, select all of your stuff, and then from there.
That sounds great, but I'm looking at it on Amazon. Cheapest I could find is like $82.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, the hardest part about doing that is just buying the game because it's fucking rare as hell. Yeah. On top of that, just like the sound quality and all that, but pretty much the PC version, which is the version that I played through, is the same as the DS version as far as like its technical stuff. Like, it has all of the animated cutscenes and stuff. And I believe the PS1 version has the animated cutscenes as well.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. But it's, yeah, I mean, people have a lot of issues with how Square ports their, like, their mobile games to PC. Like, Final Fantasy, what is it, like, 3, 4, 5... 6, like all of those are just like the mobile version of the game, but like ported onto PC. But they kind of they updated Chrono Trigger a lot for the Steam release. Like they fixed the UI, everything looks really clean, it looks really good, resolution can go as high as like 4K.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
I was actually gonna say, like, how interesting. How would you feel if they ever made like a remake of Chrono Trigger, but they did it sort of like how they did Trails of Mana, that game?
Trails of Mana.
Yeah.
Like just like with smooth.
Like in terms of how it looks.
So that's kind of how they released Chrono Trigger for the PC. Because that's kind of just like how the mobile version is. And people are not really into it. I personally feel like the best way to experience Chrono Trigger, personally, would either be like, I don't. It's hard to say. The Super Nintendo version is really good. It's just like that's just how the game was released. That's how the game was intended to be played, like initially. But I'm not gonna be like one of those people who's like, oh, well, you can't play the re-releases. You have to play the original thing. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to not be that person sometimes, but I'm not gonna be that person with this game. Really, any way that you play Chrono Trigger is an excellent way to play Chrono Trigger because you're playing Chrono Trigger.
As long as you're playing it,
yeah,
all good with me.
Yeah. So if they ever re-release the game, like, for Nintendo Switch and, like, PS4 and 5 and shit like that, I don't know. I'd probably have it just to have it. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if you have it on PS1, man, go for it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Go for it.
I shall.
Cool. But, yeah, I have it on PC, too. I was recently replaying it, but fuck it, dude. I'll go ahead and restart a save file. It's not a long game, thankfully.
That's good. And doesn't this game have like multiple endings too?
Yes. So that's the good thing about it not being crazy long, is that once you've played through it once, you sort of have an idea for how the game plays like if you wanted to do a second time, so you could get a different ending and have like half the playtime.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and there's a lot. There's like, I think there's like over 20 endings or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, play it and don't try to go for anything specific. Like, seriously, man, just play through the game like you're letting the game just kind of take you.
Oh yeah,
where
definitely.
it wants to take you. There's not a, even though it's like a Super Nintendo game, it doesn't do that thing too often where you are just stuck trying to figure out what you have to do next. I feel like there might be like a time or two where that happens, but for the most part, you can get far in this game by just doing what the game wants you to do.
Right.
And it's pretty clear about it.
That's good.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you everybody for listening to this episode. I feel like we're cutting it off a little bit short. It's hard for me to tell since
No, it's been an hour.
Oh, has it really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, right on. Yeah, thank you everyone for listening. DJ, do you wanna plug anything?
We already mentioned Mushroom Man, but go check out Mushroom Man. Fucking subscribe, do all the things to the Overleveled podcast.
Oh yeah,
you got it on all the different thingies, all the different platforms. Can't name them all off the top of my head, but they're all there. Join the Discord. Fucking give us a kiss.
Oh, hey, and I didn't let you know about this, but did you know that me and you, DJ, are currently making $15 a month on Patreon?
Really? Oh,
yeah.
No, I saw that actually. Yeah.
Yeah. We got shout out to Zach who is backing us on Patreon right now.
That's tight.
I know, $15. He just wants to see the channel grow. Do you not know how, guys? You don't know how fucking cool that feels. That feels so good.
Awesome.
Just because someone's literally just like, hey, I'm excited to see where this channel goes. I want to support you. I can do $15 a month. And so whenever that happens, right now the podcast is just me and you. So we'll be splitting that between me and you. So that's just where it's going, guys. If you want to support us and support this podcast, and whether it's Mushroom Man or Videoverse or Overleveled games and all this stuff, like we do have at least one Patreon right now where you're helping out me and DJ. So go ahead and check out our Patreon. I'll have the link in the description. It should just be Overleveled Games, but I'll have the link in the Spotify and the YouTubes and the internets, on the Facebooks, on the MySpaces.
All the places.
All of them. But yeah, our Discord too. We got a newcomer into the Discord. I just had them pulled up. They sent a message earlier talking about the Trails in the Skies games. Let me see if I can pull them up real fast, because I want to give them a shout out. Because if you go ahead and join the Discord, like, I'm gonna shout you out in the podcast. Unless obviously if you send me a message saying, hey, I just want to be here, don't shout me out, I absolutely respect that. But Twilight Artichoke, thank you so much, Twilight Artichoke, for joining the Discord.
Hell yeah.
If you want to be a badass like Twilight Artichoke, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, do all of that shit. We appreciate it a lot.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, next time on, I almost said next time on Videoverse. I cannot remember the last time I said next time on Videoverse.
It's been a very long time.
It's been a minute. We gotta play a game on Videoverse soon.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We will. We should start doing. Maybe we should just do some shit like I'll say some shit like, I don't know, like later skaters, and then you can say some shit like, peace out, Girl Scouts.
Oh, okay.
We should. I just mean like we should have some sort of like Overleveled signing off.
Right.
Sorry if that was
figure it out.
ear rape.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to Overleveled Games, or the Overleveled podcast.
Yeah.
Later, skaters.
Bye-bye, Girl Scout.